Sanibona Mthwakazi omuhle, silamukela njalo kwesinye isiqephu sethu sezindaba kumsakazo we-Citizens Movement Radio. Namhla ngoLwesithathu zilishumi lasikhombisa kuNhlangula ngomnyaka ka-2026. Indaba lizethulelwa ngikhethiwe Chuma. Isikhangele kwesihamba phambili namhlanje kumsakazo we-Citizens Movement Radio. Impikiswano ngokutshintshwa kwesisekelo sombuso ngokwehlandla lesithathu uyaqhubeka edale lephalamende. Inkantolo ye-Crown Court ilahle isicelo esenziwe ngabalwela inkululeko kanye lodubeko sibanda. Uhulumende kaMnangagwa uselahle inhloso eyahanjelwa empini ngozibuse kusho uColtard. Nanzi indaba zethu ngokugcweleyo. Amalunga edale lephalamende abuyele njalo namhlanje ephalamende ukuqhubekela phambili ngokuphikisana ngokujintshwa kwesisekelo sombuso ngokwehlandla lesithathu. Impikiswano iqhubekela phambili namhlanje ngemva kokuba kube lenxushunxushu izolo lapho omela iMaronderas Central edale lephalamende uCarsten Mateu eyawaxoshwa kuleli bhilidi ngemva kokuba ebhikishele ukuba isikhathi esiphiwe ukuba kuxoxwe ngalolu daba sifitshane. Ake sithole okutsha okuvelayo ephalamende ngokujintshwa kwesisekelo sombuso ngokwehlandla lesithathu kuvela kulowo omela imbizo edale lephalamende umhlonitshwa uGopan Matsivanyika.
I wish to put it on the record that the chaos that happened or that we witnessed in Parliament yesterday was as a result of failure by the Speaker of Parliament, who is the presiding officer, to handle Parliament business in a fair, impartial, credible, and just manner. I say this because Honorable Mateo was allowed only to speak for 2 minutes, and then the Speaker of Parliament told that his time was up, regardless of the fact that the bulk of his time was eaten up by unnecessary point of orders, unnecessary point of privileges, unnecessary interjections from ZANU-PF. Under normal circumstances, an honorable member of Parliament whose time has been eaten or whose time has been consumed by interjections must be given, his time must be extended for him to put his presentation. So, Honorable Mateo, instead of speaking for 10 minutes, he was only allowed to speak for 2 minutes, and he was told that his time was off. This is the reason why Honorable Mateo became frustrated. This is the reason why Honorable Mateo became angry, and then he started to behave in a way that he did. So it was not the anger of his own creation. It was not the frustration of his own creation. He was actually frustrated by the Speaker of Parliament. So I squarely put the blame on the Speaker of Parliament for failing to run the affairs of Parliament in a fair, just, and credible manner. And as such, the chaos that happened in Parliament is squarely put the blame for the chaos that took place yesterday in Parliament is squarely blamed on the Speaker of Parliament. Then, secondly, in terms of business of today, Wednesday, the 17th of June 2026, we expect debate to continue, general debate to continue for the outstanding members of Parliament. I think there are few members of Parliament who are yet to debate, and those members of Parliament will be allowed to debate. From there, we expect to get to a close-by-close debate today in the National Assembly. Here we'll be looking at an individual clause to see we are no longer shooting in the dark. We are not focusing on a particular clause to say this clause. Are you in agreement, honourable members? Those who agree, what is your motivation? Those who do not agree, what is your contention? And then we'll be trying to convince the minister to accept or not. And this is the stage where we don't agree on a particular clause. It may be reduced to voting. So we're going to see members dividing the house to vote on particular clauses. Those with the outright majority or two-thirds majority will carry the day. So that is the position that we're going to have today. That is what is going to happen in Parliament today. So this is the position that we have for the Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3.
Namhlanje kuseni inkantolo ye-Constitutional Court yalahla izicelo ezenziwa yilabo abalwela inkululeko lesinye njalo esenziwa ngomunye wenhlanganiso ye-DCP uPrince Dubeko Sibanda. Abalwela inkululeko bebefuna ukuba Umthetho wokutshintshwa kwesisekelo sombuso ngokwehlandla lesithathu ulahlwe njengoba uMnangagwa evele wahlala emhlanganweni wekhabhinethi owawungekho emthethweni kupasiswa lo umthetho. uDube Sibanda yena ubesola ezinye izicaphuno ezifakwe kulo umthetho.
There were two applications that we had before the Constitutional Court. The first one related to the war veterans who had taken the president to the Constitutional Court on the basis that he had breached his duties to uphold the Constitution by facilitating, initiating a bill where he would personally benefit, and also facilitating, initiating a bill where that bill is clearly specifically prohibited by the Constitution, in the sense that you cannot have a term limit amendment which benefits incumbents. That is the basis upon which the war veterans came to the Constitutional Court. The Constitutional Court has said that it will not entertain the matter on the basis that although the president has the duties that we had indicated he had breached, but those duties are not specific enough to allow the Constitutional Court to exercise its exclusive jurisdiction. In other words, we had said he had failing to uphold the Constitution, not respecting the values of the liberation struggle, all those duties that we cited under Section 9. The Constitutional Court said they are not specific enough for them to exercise the jurisdiction they have under Section 167, because we came direct to the Constitutional Court alleging that this was the kind of case which must be dealt with by the Constitutional Court directly. That was the argument. And they are saying those duties are not specific enough for them to exercise jurisdiction directly. So they declined to exercise their jurisdiction there. The application would not succeed on that basis. They said the application would not succeed on that basis. What this means is that the application ought to have been brought to a lower court, which is like the High Court. The High Court can determine those, and then it goes up to the Constitutional Court through the normal processes of appeals and so forth. That is the meaning. They said under 167 subsection 2D, those obligations will not be triggered. So that application has failed.
Kusenjalo uSikhwicamfundo Maduku selaywe yilabo abalwela inkululeko ukuba athathe udaba lwabo aluse enkantolo ephezulu. Ake simzweni echasisa okuningi.
They said they will immediately file the same application in the High Court, which can then determine those broad-based duties, because they are not clear, so they have to be ventilated. So the application will be filed in the High Court on the same allegations, same issues, which can be determined by the High Court and then going up. Then the second application we had was for Prince Sibanda, who had taken Parliament to court on the basis that Parliament must not discuss that bill because the bill is on the face of it unconstitutional. The Constitutional Court has said that is not right. They will not hear the matter now. They will prefer that Parliament goes through its processes, and after Parliament has finished its processes, they certainly will be ready to hear that. They were very specific. If you heard Justice Patel, that the issues raised, they're quite serious issues, but they would not want to consider the issues now. In other words, they would. So we've already been given the instructions that have been given to Mr. Nchadehan to then file the same application with the Constitutional Court immediately after Parliament would have gone through the processes. And this may actually happen after the National Assembly. We will read the reasons of the Constitutional Court. Our suspicion is that their reasons are such that that application can be refiled immediately after the National Assembly has completed its work, even if the bill is still going to the Senate. My clients, in both regards, they respect the judgment of the court. They are going to be studying in detail what has come out, but they are undeterred. Both applications I've indicated will still be in the courts. One by the war veterans going to the High Court, word for word, unchanged, and then the second one waiting immediately after the vote has been taken by the National Assembly. They will be back in the Constitutional Court.
Usodolobha wakobulawayo uDavid Coulthard usethe eMaseni Mnangagwa lohulumende wakhe wesibili bahlose ukulahla inhloso ezahanjelwa empini ephosela emakhasini akhe okuxhumana izolo. Coulthard usole kakhulu ibandla leZANU-PF ngokuzama ukubhala imbali entsha besusa lokhu kwakukhona okwakuyinjongo yokuya empini umuntu oyedwa levoti lakhe elilodwa. Uye wathi ngeminyaka ka-1962 owayethungamela uRobert Mugabe wayeveza mgceke ukuba kulelwa ukuba umuntu oyedwa athole ivoti lakhe elilodwa. Ilunga leDale lePhalamende kanti njalo ngwebandla eliphikisayo Ellen Shiriyedenga uthi umthetho wokutshintshwa kwesisekelo sombuso ngokwehlandla lesithathu kumele waliwe njengoba uphambanisa isidima sesisekelo sombuso waseZimbabwe kanye lenhloso yokusungulwa kwaso. Ephosela elakhe ilizwi ePhalamende izolo, umhlonishwa uShiriyedenga uthi ukutshintshwa kwesisekelo sombuso ngokwehlandla lesithathu kuphambanisa ukuqhutshwa kokubuswa elizweni kanti njalo kumele kwaliwe. Ake simzweni ekhuluma.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, ma'am. I fully concur with the colleagues that the Constitution is a living document and should evolve with the needs and aspirations of the people. Additionally, any constitutional reform should embed the core values of constitutionalism, including constitutional supremacy, popular sovereignty, separation of powers, institutional independence, accountability, inclusion, and protection against personalization of power. Any constitutional amendment which transgresses one or more of these core values is a nullity, hence should be rejected. Be that as it may, Madam Speaker, ma'am, the million-dollar question...
Point of order, Madam Speaker. Can the honourable member be heard in total silence? Thank you.
Be that as it may, Madam Speaker, ma'am, the million-dollar question therefore is, does Constitution Amendment Bill number 3 deepen democracy, constitutional democracy, or weakens it? Does it seek to strengthen the 2013 Constitution's founding values or dilute them? In my respectful view, Madam Speaker, ma'am, CAB 3 should be rejected because it threatens the core values of constitutional democracy. Instead of protecting the people's rights to choose their leaders and hold them accountable, the amendment concentrates more power in the executive, weakens independence of state institutions, and reduce direct public participation in national governance. A constitution should protect citizens from abuse of power, not make it easier for leaders to escape scrutiny. Why do I say so, Madam Speaker, ma'am? First and foremost, this bill weakens judicial independence. Clause 14 of this bill removes the issue of public nominations and public interviews of lower court judges. Madam Speaker, ma'am, this removes the aspect of transparency, and there is no guarantee amongst the public to the effect that the persons that will be appointed as judges are fit for the purpose and are qualified. Courts are supposed to act as neutral guardians of the law. Any changes in their appointment procedures giving the executive more influence affects the independence of the judiciary, which is contrary to Section 164 of our Constitution, which is clear that the independence, impartiality, and effectiveness of the courts are central to the rule of law and democratic governance. The second issue is that this amendment weakens the traditional leadership system. I would like to concur with the views of the Chief's Counsel on that matter. Madam Speaker, ma'am, I heard some arguing that traditional leaders should be accorded political rights because they are universal, which is true, Madam Speaker. If we are to accord them political rights, let's adhere to Section 67 and preserve their universality and consider the prisoners and those that are in diaspora who are deprived of their political rights. The third issue, Madam Speaker, is on how this amendment bill weakens it. Madam Speaker, in his presentation, our leader of government business did indicate that the changes primarily on the voters' roll and delimitation were motivated by the need to align ZEC and make it focus on its role of conducting elections. Madam Speaker, I respectfully partially agree with the minister, but what the minister did not consider is that election is a cycle. If we remove certain components of the electoral cycle, then that affects its integrity and the flow of the electoral process. And
omela inotho netalele ephalamende uRichard Tsvangirai usewazwakalisa laye lakhe ilizwi ephalamende mayelana lodaba olukhona lokutshintshwa kwesisekelo sombuso ngokwehlandla lesithathu izolo. Umhlonitshwa uTsvangirai uthi ukutshintshwa kwesisekelo sombuso ngokwehlandla lesithathu kakulethi indaba ezisemqoka ezihlanganisa abantu lokuletha indaba egcekeni kanye lokunikeza abantu amalungelo abo, kodwa kuhlose ukuba kube ngumbuso wodlakela. Ake simzweni ekhuluma.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, for granting me this opportunity to be able to articulate the position of the people of Norton. In the book of Why Nations Fell, Darren Ajemulo and James Robson seek to answer a fundamental question: why do nations prosper while others remain poor? The authors reject the notion that prosperity is determined by geography, climate, natural resources, or culture alone. Instead, they argue that the primary determinant of a nation's success is the nature of its institutions. They distinguish between two types of institutions, Honorable Speaker: inclusive institutions and extractive institutions. Inclusive institutions are characterized by democracy, accountability, transparency, broad participation, and respect for the rule of law. They distribute political power widely and create opportunities for citizens to contribute and benefit from the economic growth. On the other hand, Honorable Speaker, extractive institutions concentrate power in the hands of a few. They weaken accountability, limit citizen participation, undermine democratic oversight, and often designed to serve the interests of political elites rather than the nation as a whole. Honorable Speaker, the question before this House today is whether the Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 strengthens inclusive institutions or moves our country towards extractive institutions. Having carefully considered the provisions of this bill, I am persuaded that it does not strengthen inclusivity, accountability, or democratic participation. Instead, several of its provisions concentrate power, weaken institutional independence, and reduce the direct role of citizens. It is on that basis, Honorable Speaker, that I rise to oppose the Constitutional Amendment Bill.
Omela Evela eMarondera Central edalele ephalamende umhlonishwa uCarsten Mateu oxoshwe ephalamende izolo ngemva kokuba ebhikishe ukuba isikhathi esiphiwe ukuba kuxoxiswane ngokujinjwa kwesisekelo sombuso ngokwehlandla lesithathu sifitshane njalo uye wathi akalandaba loba angaze axoshwe ephalamende. Ephosela emakhasini akhe okuxhumana uMateu uthi uza kuqhubekela phambili ekhulumela labo abamkhethayo hatshi ukuba ayenze inhloso ezizamenza yena aphumelele. Uye wathi udidisi webandla leZANU-PF uSengezo Tshabangu lo ozithi ungumthungameli webandla eliphikisayo ephalamende akamkhiphe esikhundleni sokuba ngumgcinisihlalo owekomiti yePublic Accounts Committee nxa ethanda. Uhulumende webandla leZANU-PF usefake iholo labantu abasebenza imisebenzi engachasiswanga emalini engangama270 edoleni leMelika bese kusithi labo abasebenza ezindlini bona baza kuthola ama90 edoleni leMelika kuthi labo abasebenza ukunanza abantwana baza kuthola imali engange100 lemali eyisi8 edoleni leMelika. Iholo leli liza kubhadalwa ngemali yalapha ekhaya kuqathaniswa lemali zangaphandle. Siye saxoxisana losaziwayo kwezokuthengiselana uObed Masaraure osiphe yakhe imbono mayelana ngalokhu okuvelayo. Ake simzweni ekhuluma.
Nyaya yemuhoro yevashandi inosuwisa kwazvo. Hurumende yedu inoratidza kuti haina hanya nekurarama kunoita vashandi. Domestic worker kana achinzi anopiwa $90, mamwe mageneral laborers achipiwa $270. Tinopokana nazvo. Tinoti madomestic workers anofanira kuiswa paminimum wage $270 iyoyo ine mamwe malaborers ese inenge ichingori shoma zvakare nekuti madomestic workers aya anongotenga muzvitoro zvimwe chete zvinotenga vamwe, hapana chikonzero chekuvasarura. Asi hurumende iri kuratidza kutsvinya kwayo, kunyanya kutsvinyira kwainoita vashandi vanoishandira macivil servants who earn almost the same $270 that is now being paid to those with unclassified jobs who are general laborers. So to the government of Emerson Mnangagwa, a teacher is just a general laborer, a nurse is a general laborer, among other things. We continue to demand a fair wage for all workers. We have seen the exploitation mainly of agricultural workers, the same agricultural workers who, some of them were displaced from their homes during the land reform. They were never compensated. Now white farmers are getting compensation, but those workers, even those farming areas, they lost their homes, they lost employment, they never got the land. Now they still earn paltry salaries. We demand that they be given a minimum wage of at least $300. We demand that at least the minimum wage for all workers be at $300. We demand a fair wage for the teachers of Zimbabwe in particular, demanding that they at least be paid $1,260 in line with the services they give to our dear country.
Njengoba kuhlaselwa kwabantu base-Afrika kweleningizimu Afrika kulokho kuqhubekela phambili, uhulumende waseZimbabwe wenza imizamo yokuletha izizalwane zaseZimbabwe kuleli lizwe. Lokhu kuye kwashiwo ngunobhala kugatsha lwezokukhitshwa kwezindaba uNick Mangwana. Isiphathamandla sebandla eliphikisayo uSemgondongwe yena uye wasola uhulumende webandla leZANU-PF ngemithetho yakhe engaqondanga kwezomkhonomi lapho athe yibo abadale inxushunxushu le ebhekane lezizalwane zaseZimbabwe ezisakazeke umhlaba wonke jikelele. Ake sizweni uGondongwe ekhuluma.
As xenophobic attacks against African nationals increase in South Africa, the government of Zimbabwe said they are making efforts to repatriate all Zimbabwean nationals in that country. This was said by Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Information, Nick Mangwana. But as we all know that the ZANU-PF-led government, through its bad economic policies, is responsible for the exodus of Zimbabwean citizens who are scattered in every part of the world. Instead of the government prioritizing sustainable development and the economic emancipation of all citizens of our country, They are busy trying to consolidate power. They are busy trying to destroy the constitution of Zimbabwe. And if you look at other nations, they are sending buses, they are doing all they can, putting in statements against the xenophobic attacks, but the government of ZANU-PF, they are quiet like everything is normal, because they've got they have no social contract with the citizens of our nation. ZANU-PF has destroyed the fiber of all citizens. They have destroyed the moral that is in us as Zimbabweans. They have destroyed the sustainable welfare, or they've destroyed the means of survival in our nation. As long as you don't support the ruling party, as long as you don't support ZANU-PF, you cannot get anything meaningful in our nation. So people have decided to move away from Zimbabwe in search of greener pastures, and it is upon our nation, or upon the government of ZANU-PF, to make the constitution survive, so that lives of all the Zimbabwean people becomes normal again. And we really wish for the people that are in South Africa that God protects them, that the government puts more effort so that our people are safe. And we implore the government of South Africa to shun violence, because we are all African. It is an Pan-Africanism to tell an African person that you are a foreigner in an African nation, because we are all Africans and we stem from the same roots. So it is not good for South Africa to employ xenophobia against the other African nationals.
Isakhamizi saseHarare uBenedict Makaya usedonsele ukhansili waseHarare kanye leHillcrow enkantolo ephezulu lapho wahlose khona ukuba kumiswe ukufaka amamitha awamanzi. Isakhamizi lesi simelwa ngabenhlanganiso yeZimbabwe Lawyers for Human Rights, kanti njalo uthi lawa amamitha awamanzi ephula imithetho yaseHarare eyama-bylaws eyomnyaka ka-1913 ngaphansi kwe-Urban Act. Lokhu wathi kuzakwenza kuba ukulethwa kwamanzi kuphambaniseke. Isikhangele kwezemidlalo. UMbappe uhlohle kabili kuzwe lakhe laseFrance ngesikhathi bekhipha intshantshu zezwekazi lase-Afrika 3-1 emdlalweni wabo wokuqala ku-World Cup izolo kusihlwa. Nansi eminye imiphumela yemidlalo edlaliweyo. INorway 4, Iraq 1, Argentina 3, Algeria 0, Austria 3, Jordan 1. Enye yezintshantshu eke yabakhona emidlalweni yenguqu, Lionel Messi uhlohle amagoli amathathu ngesikhathi i-Argentina inqoba i-Algeria 3-0 emidlalweni wabo wokuqala kumidlalo ye-World Cup yomnyaka ka-2026. UMessi usephezulu ngokuhlohla amagoli kule imidlalo, kanti njalo usehlohle amagoli ali-16. Useqhathaniswe lalowo owaseGerman uMiroslav Klose. Ukuziphetha lezi ndaba kumsakazo we-Citizens Movement Radio, nanze bezihamba phambili. Impikiswano ngokutshintshwa kwesisekelo sombuso ngokwehlandla lesithathu iqhubekela phambili ePhalamende. Inkantolo ye-Concord isilahle isicelo salabo abalwela inkululeko kanye lodubeko sibanda. Uhulumende kaMnangagwa usephumelelise ukuba alahle inhloso eyahanjelwa empini, kusho uColtart. Siziphetha lapha lezi ndaba.